Hey, Randy from the Guitar Addict. Today we're going to talk about what's kind of going on now in the land of guitars, at least in our area. And I've talked to other people as well, and they've said the same thing. The used guitar market for older guitars is exploding. And a lot of USA stuff is starting to come out from underneath the beds. Why is this? I don't know, you say. Well, I'm going to explain that to you right now. We're going to go through this and talk about it and all that fun stuff. If you're new here, please hit the like and subscribe button and become part of the channel and help us out. So why are all these older guitars, these USA guitars, coming out from under the beds? What's going on? Why is this happening? Well, I'm going to tell you this right now. We're going to talk about this. Kids, you know who you are, think that these USA guitars, these older guitars, are grandpa's stuff. I don't know what it is. I had several kids come in here and they kind of talked about this with me, and they said, you know, the USA stuff doesn't really mean that much to us anymore. We would really prefer to play Schechters and ESPs or LTDs, not ESPs, but LTDs and stuff like that. And there's so many of these cheap guitars popping up, the Enyas, the Fireflies, all the other, the Harley Bettons, all this stuff are kind of like taking over the whole younger market because they're cheap, they're inexpensive, not cheap, inexpensive. You can get into them and you have a decent guitar for a little bit of money. You know, USA Fender Strats and Kellys and Gibson Les Pauls and stuff like that. They're a lot more money to a younger generation. I understand. I was the same way when I was a kid. I couldn't afford to buy a Strat, you know, at least a USA one. Actually, there wasn't anything else but USA ones when I was a kid. So we had to rely on Silvertones and stuff like that. But now, you know, even the older, as kids get, you know, grow older, now in their 20s, they still look at those USA Strats and Les Pauls back here and all this fun stuff like that, and they, that's grandpa's guitar. They don't even care about that. I'll take an ESP or a Schecter any day of the week. Wow, really? You know, it's not crazy to say that. Why? Because younger kids and adults, they like a neck that's very thin. Like the Kiesel up here. Yes, yeah, Kiesel. That's got a nice thin neck. And actually the Hammer too. The Hammer's got a really nice thin neck. They don't want Strats. Strats aren't really good for drop tuning, you know, doing that type of stuff. They're, you know, they're good for blues, rock, you know, classic rock, stuff like that, but they're not good for drop tuning, stuff like that. So kids look at these. I say kids, I'm just talking, when I say kids, because I'm old. I admit it, I'm old. I'm older. And younger adults look at these type of guitars as what they grew up looking at their dad playing, their grandpa playing. So they look at that and they say, I'm not playing one of those. My dad played one of those. My grandpa had one of those. My grandpa had one of those 59 things. If he had a 59 one of these, he was a lucky man. But it's crazy because now that we've kind of distinguished the old man type of guitars, as these kids call, I'm starting to see a lot of them pop up. More and more throughout the country, even like here even. we're starting to see more USA stuff kind of come out from underneath the beds. Why is that? Aging out. Grandpa's now getting old. Dad's getting old. Dad doesn't need that guitar anymore. Dad's like, you know, my hands are kind of hurting a little bit. I've got a little problem going on with the hand. Can't play very much anymore. So maybe I need to get rid of these guitars. You know, and now Grandpa's the same way. Grandpa's like, got arthritis in my hands. I can't play. I can't do anything anymore. So, you know, I got tarsal tunnel, not tarsal, but carpal tunnel and all that fun stuff. And maybe I need to sell these guitars. So they're popping up all over the place now. I'm seeing a lot of them. For a long time, we always saw was Epiphones and Squires and all the mid-range $300 guitars because COVID guitars. That's what we call them. We call them COVID guitars because people bought a bunch of these things because they were bored. Now those guitars flooded the market for the last 2 years, but now these are starting to flood the market because just what I talked about. Guys are aging out. And it's sad. It's sad to see that. And the younger kids, younger adults, don't care. They could care less. They don't want those guitars. But the 40, the 50, and the 60-year-old guys still do. And luckily, those guys do have a little bit of money because they have good jobs. They're not flipping burgers or whatever. A lot of the 20-year-olds too, they also have they have good money, but and 30-year-olds have money. But once again, that 20 to 30, even 30, now there's 30-year-olds that still appreciate this stuff. It's just the teens and the 20-year-olds don't really care about this stuff. They're kind of more interested in those. I don't know about the Kiesel. Kiesel a little off the range because that's a little more expensive. But that, you know, I'm sure that ESP over there would be right up their alley if it said LTD on it. But it's sad to say that stuff is aging out. Who's going to pick up this stuff next? Will the younger generation come around and say, you know what? I've always wanted one of those guitars in the back of my mind. I love my LTD, I love my Schecter, but I've always wanted a Strat. I've always loved, you know, the Les Pauls. I want a Paul Reed Smith. I don't want an SE, I want a real Paul Reed Smith. Is that what's gonna happen? Well, you let me know. What do you think is going to happen with all the guitars? Do you think these USA guitars are going to flood them or keep flooding the market and just sit there for a little longer? Because I see a lot of them sitting, doing nothing. I hate to say it, even in my shop. I keep buying it because I have guitar shows that I can sell it at. But here in the shop, I don't see a lot of people coming in and buying it. I see a lot of people looking at it. But I still see a lot of, you know, younger people coming in saying, any Schecters? Got any LTDs? And those, when I do get them, they sell. Sad, but true. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's little video of what's happening in the world of guitars. Grandpa's guitar is sitting here. Sorry, Grandpa. You know, but anyways, I hope you enjoyed today. Please hit the like and subscribe button and become part of the channel and follow me along my journeys as we do guitar shows and other things. And don't forget, Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock, we do a live feed. So if you want to come join me and shoot the crap and all that other fun stuff, join us 8 o'clock on Wednesday nights. All right, that's Eastern time, by the way. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you. So long from the Sunshine State.